You're watching TRTS Clips, a clip-sized content playlist that encloses experiences and stories of some of the most amazing, intellectually sound people from different walks of life. You enjoy this particular clip and don't forget to check out the entire playlist. If you like it, please support us by sharing it. Now, without further ado, the guest is all yours.
You have spent a lot of time building your startups and working in the corporates, and you have had your taste of both the cultures, like what goes in other countries and what goes in India. Why do you feel is this particular practice actually of not celebrating failures, that mindset of looking down when someone fails? Why do you think is that kind of mindset build, like why that kind of mindset prevails in India? Because when we see a lot of Indians succeeding outside, there are certain things that we can learn, and we need to learn from them so that we could develop that kind of culture and that kind of environment surrounding mindset in India as well. So
absolutely.
How do you go about this point? Like, how do you go about the change in mindset that happens and the various reasons due to which it happens?
I want Kushagra completely. I won't throw the baby with the bathtub when it comes to startup culture in India. Correctly, I think a lot is changing and changing for the good. You will see a lot of corporates who actually hire people who have been entrepreneurs before, and even in our own startup, when we look at CVs of people who had started their own businesses, maybe for some reason it didn't work out, we actually encourage and try to get them on board. So I think the mindset is changing. But where we are coming from, Kushagra, is that, hey, look, we are still a pretty young country when it comes to compared to the Western world. How many years of our independence and so on, and we have been predominantly a job-oriented economy. Right, where you graduate, you either pursue your engineering, your medicines, so that you can get a good job, right? And that's how our wealth creation has been. The whole world of entrepreneurship, the entrepreneurial ecosystem, I won't say that it's new. It has already been there. Always been there in the country. But if you look at it, it's always been restricted to a certain community, right? Like the way we call it the Banyas or the Marwadi community. We almost say that if you are a Banya or a Marwadi, you need to start your own business. But if you're anything else, you need to be an engineer or a doctor and take up a job. So I think that's also driven by the fact that the opportunities in our country were limited. So it was always a mad rush to be the first in the queue, to get a job, to get a seat in an engineering college, to get first rank in the school, so that those opportunities, with the scarce opportunities, become available to the first few who are in the queue, right? And if you're not in the first 5 who get that opportunity, if you're the 6th or the 7th, then automatically the stigma was that, hey, look, you are not good enough. Okay. Right? But we didn't consider that maybe the opportunities aren't there for all the 10 people. It's only there for the 5. But I think that mindset is definitely changing, Kushagra. A lot and more people are becoming open to the world of startups and entrepreneurship. And I think I would give a lot of credit to some of the wonderful startups we have in our country, like the InMobis, the Flipkarts, Zerodha, Zoho, and even if you go back a little bit, Infosys, HCL Tech. So these guys actually brought that revolution and showed to our previous generations too that, look, this could be a legitimate career choice. Not simply as a pastime or as pure indulgence. It's a legitimate career choice. So I think that is where things are changing and improving, right, Prashant? And it will take time, but we are definitely reaching there where at some point in level, we would also be starting to celebrate failures, because one of the things personally I maintain always, Kushagra, is that an entrepreneur never fails. The company might fail or succeed, but an entrepreneur never fails, right? Just the very fact that you had the courage to take that leap of faith, it's more important to cross the starting line, more difficult rather to cross the starting line than the finish line. The very fact that you have taken that step, that itself shows that what you are made up of. So things are changing for the good, Kushagra, and I think with more and more success stories, more unicorn stories, by next 5 to 10 years, I think this will become almost mainstream, for a lot of people.